That news dropped. What was the initial reaction when you found out all that yesterday?
Stunned. I'm seeing my radio future flash before my eyes, and everyone's like, go to Dallas Fort Worth, top 5 market, home of the Dallas Cowboys. Luka Doncic, Micah Parsons, Corey Seager probably gone for the year. Like my radio life with the ratings flashing before my eyes right there. That's what I was thinking about. And then because it's not a total shock, right? Everyone's comparing it to Luka today. This doesn't touch the Luka vitriol. It doesn't
Agreed.
even sniff it. Doesn't even come close. And you had the great clip of asking Micah about it because we saw this as a possibility. And then I'm waiting for more to come back in the return. Okay, not just 2 firsts. Okay, not just a defensive tackle who's 30. Like, can I get a second rounder? Can I get an extra third rounder? And then it went to where's my excitement for the regular season starting in a few days against the defending champs? I had the Cowboys as a possible fringe playoff team at like 9-8. That is now out the window and totally gone in my mind. So that's where I've been. I've been angry, sad, confused, and stunned over losing 2 generational Hall of Famers in a year's time here.
What has the fan reaction been? You're 100% right. I was stunned. I didn't even know Luka Doncic was a possibility of getting traded, and they clearly did not get enough back. The way I've been saying it here on this Micah Parsons trade, it's a good starting offer in the return if you're going to trade him. But you're right. I needed a little bit more. I needed something else there, even if it was an additional first-round pick, like a second or a third. But it's not as if the Cowboys got robbed in terms of the return. The fan reaction today, are people angry? Are people just happy to be done with this? What was the majority of the fans' takes today when you did your show?
You know, it was not as angry as I thought it was going to be. I thought, we don't take a ton of calls, but we took a lot of calls today. And I thought it was going to be yelling and screaming and rage. Now, look, some of that is the bandwagon aspect of fans, right? Once he's gone and he had demanded, Luka got blindsided. So Luka's going to be loved here forever, just like Dirk, because he got stabbed in the back and he was devastated when he went to L.A. Micah asked for it, but still around 85% of people were supporting him at the time because Jerry Jones isn't giving him what's obvious to everybody. But as this went on, people started bringing up Micah's old quotes of, I don't need to be the highest paid. People started saying you need to change representation. Where's he in big games? 1 sack in 4 playoff games. He's a diva, the podcast. So as this thing went on, Zach, for like 3 weeks, however the hell long it's been, people got tired of it. And the Mavericks lost that benefit of like having that out there for a while, shopping him. This had been out there. So I think people were ready. Now you still have people who think they got ripped off. Jerry Jones is terrible. But you had a decent amount of Cowboy fans today who were excited to rebuild because a lot of them can't stand Dak Prescott. And now the new big thing today is Arch Manning next year or the year after.
Well, that's what I led the show with today because we were on yesterday while the news broke. And I said, I look at the Dak contract, 2027, when the dead cap falls to like $55 million, is what I circle. And you have 4 first-round picks in the next 2 years. I got to think Jerry's taking a quarterback. Now, if he takes him in 2026, okay. You could have a quarterback sit for a year, Dak play 2026, you trade Dak in 2027. But if they wait until 2027 to use one of those first-round picks to go get to go get a quarterback, then you just trade Dak right after that. So I think Dak is off this team by the start of the 2027 season. Yourself?
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. And then you got Todd McShay. We do this with basketball drafts. Like, there's the LeBron year, and there's the Scoot Henderson year, and 3 years from now, that's the draft. Well, Todd McShay yesterday was doing that about the 2027 class. Like, this is really the class. Here's the problem, though, Zach. In addition to if you think the Cowboys didn't get enough, nobody trusts this team to spend. Nobody trusts this team to do the right things with the draft picks. They number one 4th picks away into the toilet. Trey Lance, Mingo, like this is not trustworthy for this team to do the right thing with the 4 picks. Yesterday, Jerry was trying to bring up freaking Herschel Walker by saying, we could turn these picks into 4 picks, 5 picks. But I'm with you. I think the big splash trade up, maybe something, down the line, depending on who comes out. But having all this money, second most cap space in the NFL behind New England, the Cowboys don't spend. They didn't think Derrick Henry was worth it. They've struck out. It's got to be a bargain bin. Micah was probably afraid to give up money because he didn't trust them spending. Dak was afraid to give up money because he didn't trust Stephen Jones to go ahead and spend in the right places. So that's part of my fear that comes with this, even though it's a good financial situation.
Was what you guys had out there, I saw on social media on 105.3 The Fan, was that the last offer that Jerry Jones made to Micah? Was it 5 years? Where it was about $40.5 million a year, and ultimately he got $4 for $47 a year. Was that the final offer that the Cowboys made?
So I think the Cowboys. So last night I was of the opinion. Jerry last night said the most important sentence. I stopped where they started.
Okay.
That made me believe, right? And then others are reporting it was 40.5 for 5 years. Micah wanted 4 to get back to market. Right? He's talked about not wanting to play well past 30 and all that. Micah wanted 4, got 47. I'm not blaming Jerry Jones for not paying Micah Parsons $47 million. That's just me. Part of that is Dak, Lamb, Diggs. They can't afford it. They messed up with the Dak and Diggs deals. And then I don't know if any defensive players we're going to jump the market by $6 million. If I'm going to get mad at Jerry, I'm mad at him for not signing him last year when every other damn team in the National Football League would have done it. They were just cap hamstrung. You should have done it last year when maybe you were still in the 30s. But paying him 47 right now, I'm not killing Jerry for that. What we found out possibly this morning, we're trying to get confirmation. This is Nick Eatman, DallasCowboys.com. Nick was hearing that not only did the Cowboys offer him more guaranteed money, I think we're talking about 160 versus like 136 he got. Nick had been hearing that back in March and April, they had offered him 43, 44 a year. If that's true, I'm absolving Jerry Jones of, again, if that's true, I'm not saying it is, I'm absolving Jerry of any blame. Any blame. This is before the insults. This is before the back and forth. 43, 44 a year. I think it was before TJ got paid. So you would have jumped the market even more. But even if it was after TJ, I can't remember. I think it was before TJ.
Yeah, it would be before if it was an agent.
Yeah, so you went over whoever previous deal that was. I think it was Miles by 3 or 4 million, gave him more guaranteed than what he got yesterday from the Packers. I could never blame Jerry Jones for offering that, and I would put all the blame on Micah for turning that down if it's true, and we're still working to confirm it.
Now, I know you said this stuff was before the shots at the agent, but the shots at the agent, was that really the end of this relationship? Because we've seen, like, Dak go through a muddy contract situation, but Dak just seemed numb to all this stuff. And he said, this is what happens when you're the quarterback of the Cowboys. Micah did the rare thing where you didn't really see it with CD. You didn't really see it from Dak from what I remember. Micah kind of fought back because I think Jerry made it personal after, A, pretend to not know who his agent is, and then also saying he's not dealing with the agent to make the deal.
Have you been watching The Gambler?
Yeah, it was great.
I think my theory, this is a theory, that Jerry Jones doing this on Netflix kind of brought up some old things he has lived by. And you see how big loyalty is, right? He couldn't even put Jimmy Johnson into the Ring of Honor when it was obvious to everyone. He had to meditate over Jimmy. You've seen these episodes, right? And he'll go to the grave still mad at Jimmy Johnson to a degree. When Micah Parsons went in his office, got a cell phone, which only 3 people have, he said, on that have played for him. Micah initiated the negotiations, in Jerry's mind, then lied about it in the trade request. Micah Parsons made it seem like, and I don't know who's right or wrong, Micah made it seem like Jerry lured him in with a Wisconsin piece of cheese and put it in a trap and then slammed the prison door shut and tricked him and manipulated him into a negotiation when they were supposed to be talking about leadership. That probably infuriated Jerry Jones. Jerry told Stephen A. Smith, he came into my office, not once. He left, adjusted the contract demands. I met them. Then he reneged after 2 meetings. Then called me and said, don't call me anymore. If you watch The Gambler and he keeps talking about loyalty, I could see that point right there severing things. And then I also think this damn Herschel trade was bad for Cowboy fans being reincarnated and being brought back up, because yesterday he dropped the Herschel thing as if this is anywhere near the same galaxy. So my theory is the Gambler, and talking about all that stuff and watching it, had him thinking about Micah Parsons as Herschel Walker and thinking about Micah Parsons' betrayal as Jimmy Johnson.
You know, another thing from the Gambler, Shan Shariff is here with us from the Fan in Dallas, Zach Gelb Show, Infinity Sports Network. When they were rehashing when Troy decided to retire, I thought that was the most damaging part, because he basically said, hey, we know who runs the team, and I don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. I don't see the vision. So I'll ask this question today in the year of 2025. After trading Micah Parsons, what the F is the vision of the Dallas Cowboys with Jerry Jones for the next few years?
This is the top two. This is the second most depressing thing the regular season is depressing for me right now. The timing of it is infuriating. And the most confusing part is the damn direction. You cannot pay Dak Prescott 60, give Lamb 30, give Diggs 20, trade for Pickens, and then trade your best player days before the season. That is a zigging and a zagging, and it is ridiculous. It's malpractice, and now people think they're getting ready for a rebuild. They were supposed to be in a 2-year Dak. I'm holding my kid's pig toy. Sorry, I got to throw this away. We're supposed to be in a 2-year Dak Prescott window, Zach. This is 2 years and then move on. You already laid out Arch. You already laid out the next quarterback, the draft picks to use. And now all of a sudden you're giving away your best player, trading away your best player after making win-now decisions. I'm totally with you. That is maddening because it's inconsistent in terms of a direction of a plan.
When Micah comes back, because that's a home game coming up on September 28th in Dallas, Sunday Night Football on NBC. What's the reaction inside that stadium when Micah Parsons runs onto the field?
Great question. I think he's going to get booed. People are not happy about the back. I don't begrudge Micah Parsons for the BS back. He did what he had to do. He felt disrespected. Jerry Jones insulted him, went out of his way to insult him, unlike any other negotiation I've covered here with Zeke, CeeDee Lamb, Dak. I thought he took it way over the line with Micah. But people are not happy about the back. People are not happy that he lied, and he did lie about taking less money. I don't need to be the highest paid. I can have people around me. I want help. And then people didn't like the podcast stuff, right? You know how it goes. If you win the Super Bowl, no one gives an S. And then when you lose and you struggle and you're buddy-buddy with everyone, then all of a sudden it's a distraction. So my guess right now is Micah gets booed. The majority of boos when he returns.
But booing Micah, in a way, is an endorsement of Jerry Jones. And that's a thing to me. I think we're now in an era where people are just numb to what Jerry does. And when he does it over and over again, yes, it creates a stir. Yes, we talk about it. But at this point, this is what people expect out of Jerry. And that's the sad part for Jerry, is now you've done this for so many years where people go, oh, it's old man Jerry Jones just doing a bunch of crazy things again.
Jerry Jones' greatest achievement is having this team be as popular as they are without not even coming close to winning for 30 years. That, like taking over the Cowboys, you watch the beginning of The Gambler, that stuff is awesome. But here's another lesson from, and now I have like a chicken or a duck. Sorry. Here's another lesson from The Gambler. I think because of Jerry's early success, right? Fighting the NFL, getting sued for $300 million, surviving it, winning, being the Arkansas hick coming in that everyone hated. What he did with Tom Landry and Jimmy Johnson, Zach, is Nico Luka times 500 here. The Dallas Cowboys, Tom Landry, he survived it. He won. He gets rid of Jimmy Johnson. You're a moron. He said, anyone can win the Super Bowl. I can bring in anyone. He proved it with Switzer. So he won the Switzer battle. He won the Landry to Jimmy battle. He overcame the dumb hick. He brought Nike in. He brought Fox in. Fox is the stepchild. You're probably too young for this. Fox is the nasty, salacious Simpsons and Married with Children and boobs and all this and burping and beer. And Jerry Jones won all that. So when we criticize him, he goes, you really think that what y'all are talking to me about, our blow up last year on the radio was over like Derrick Henry. He's like, you little peons criticizing me over this? I've been through wars. I've been through like capital WARS. And unfortunately, I think those wars he won 30 years ago caused him to be so stubborn and resistant to real actual change right now.
Let's just say, this is the last thing I'll ask you, Shan Shariff, from 105.3 The Fan in Dallas. You guys talk to Jerry Jones, as you alluded to, each and every week in football season. Let's say the Packers come into town on September 28th, and they smack around the Dallas Cowboys. The easy question the next day to ask, and the obvious question is, hey, Jerry, do you regret trading Micah Parsons after the beatdown that he just put on your football team? How do you think Jerry Jones will end up answering that? Will he hang up on you guys?
He'll say no before the question gets out. Are you kidding me? Jerry Jones, he wouldn't even come on and say sorry to us after he threatened to get us fired when he didn't own the radio station, called us yahoos later on at night to Jared Bell USA Today. He's not going to. He said last night, they asked, you have any regrets? It took this long for him to show and admit some Jimmy regrets. He ain't going to sit there and admit any regret over that deal, no matter what Green Bay does. But I'll tell you one damn thing, as I'm looking at this schedule, they better be 2-2 before that Packer game. They got to be 4-2 to have any, in my opinion, hope of the playoffs. At Philly, everyone's going to have that as a loss. You somehow lose to the Giants, Zach. You somehow start off 0-2, and then kind of an up-and-coming Chicago team. Oh, my goodness. Poor Brian Schottenheimer. You better be 2-1 by the time that Packer game comes. Then you get the Jets and Carolina. That should be 4-2 before Washington, Denver, and then the end of their schedule is really, really tough. But, ooh, that Giant game, early pressure, in my opinion.
He is Shan Shariff. Does a great job. Sean and RJ, 105.3 The Fan in Dallas, and he also has some of the best kid toys around, as we found out during this interview. Sean, appreciate it.
Thank you, brother. Keep killing it.